And we are live. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youth AI Festival Info Session. We're thrilled to have you here, and greetings to those of you rewatching in the future who are not here live. It's great to have you too. I am your host, Dr. Randy from Day of AI, joined by my partner in crime, none other than Matt Taylor. Say hello, Matt.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And we're coming to you live from MIT, Raise, and Day of AI. If you're a little bit new to our world, we are a team of researchers and educators who are dedicated to making AI literacy accessible to everyone, just every single person.
Exactly. Yeah, Day of AI is an international initiative providing free K-12 AI curricula and professional development. Our mission is to bring AI literacy to every K-12 student and teacher worldwide. Meanwhile, MIT Raise is on a mission to advance responsible AI, deepen learning, and empower everyone to build a better world. From tools like App Inventor to the Raise AI Playground to programs like Path and Future Makers, it's all about social empowerment through education.
Absolutely. And the heart of Day of AI in particular is the partnership between researchers and educators. So I actually did my PhD at MIT within the Raise Hub. And in fact, I'm soon going to be an educator. I'll be a professor in human computer interaction. Thank you, Matt. At Carnegie Mellon University. Same is true for you, Matt.
Yes, except for the part where I'm not going to be a professor. I don't have those kind of prestigious credentials. But no, I do. But yeah, I do have the privilege of getting to work at MIT and getting to develop curriculum with MIT Raise, as well as working with Day of AI. A long time ago, I actually was an AI engineer, but that was like 13 years ago. AI looks so different now than it did back then. So I'm like constantly having to keep up on the research. But after that, I worked at Scratch, and then I worked in Boston Public Schools. And it's nice to be able to combine all that experience now with MIT Raise and Day of AI.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience. You've seen it all. You've seen all of the AI movements and waves. So I'll have to say that those of you joining us are totally in good hands. As we said in the chat, if you want to post where you're from, would love to see where people are logging in from. So hello, my folks in New Jersey and North Carolina and Manhasset, Long Island. I hope everyone has finally gotten themselves unsnowed. Like, are you out of the snow and the ice? Are we all safe and warm and hopefully home from school and not hopefully everyone got a good snow day.
In Arizona and Georgia, you probably avoided the snow. Good for you.
I'm actually a little jealous. I would love to be in Georgia right now and not underneath like 20 inches of snow here in Cambridge. But I digress. Definitely want to extend a welcome to everyone. Oh, California. Yeah. It just gets better and better.
Hey, Boston. There we go. Someone else in snow. Suffer with us.
Hey, Matt, why are we all here today? What?
Yeah, Randy, today we are here to talk about the Youth AI Festival. We're going to talk about the 4 challenges associated with the festival, talk about the festival itself. It's coming up in July, and a little bit about the grand prize, which is a trip to MIT for select students.
Yes, that is a big grand prize. That is huge, in fact. But today, we're only focusing on a little bit of it. So we're going to talk about the Me, Myself, and AI Challenge. We're going to talk about the AI Live Challenge, just some highlights. But there's more to see. And you can find a detailed guide inside the YouTube description. If not right now, then we'll update it. So maybe the YouTube comments. And on the banner on the screen, amazing. Shout out to Jorge, who is manning the levers in the back. And yeah, all of this information will be available later. So you'll be able to check your emails and make sure that you get plugged in. Because again, it's big, it's huge. There's a lot going on. So we want to make sure that everyone has what they need.
Yeah, and if you have any questions as we're going, feel free to leave us a comment. We'll see if we can get to them. But maybe it's time to get started.
I think we're ready. Let's do it.
Our students are capable of amazing things, but too often their voices are missing in education, especially in conversations about technology, where they're often more fluent in tech than we are.
We're already seeing how AI is transforming education itself, from next-generation AI tutors and ChatGPT to tools that help teachers and administrators.
AI is so important because it is shaping our future and our reality, but it's important to know that it must be used responsibly.
That's why Day of AI and MIT Raise are launching Responsible AI for America's Youth, a nationwide movement to prepare every student for an AI-powered future. We are challenging students with engaging, hands-on projects that make AI real and relevant beyond the classroom. We'll showcase this work at events across the country, culminating in an AI Youth Festival at MIT in July of 2026, celebrating the country's 250th anniversary.
We need to build an AI literate world. Now is the time to take positive action to define the role of AI in the education of our children.
Super excited about the Day of AI to K-12 students all across the U.S. Students will be empowered, AI literate, and will help change the future. Thank you, guys.
That video gets me so hyped every time. I love it. So just to reiterate again, what are we doing? Why are we here? The whole point is making sure that every student has the opportunity to learn about the AI, because, you know, it's the new media literacy, like understanding these technologies. It's part of our day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, this always reminds me of one of the quotes. I feel like it's from Ray's. I forget who said it, but, you know, AI literacy is not just about understanding how the technology works, but about understanding how it affects our lives and our societies. Because, you know, y'all are on the front lines. You see this every day. AI is changing. It has been changing for a while, and it's continuing to change the way students are engaging. The world needs to prepare students to enter. It's changing a lot.
Yeah, it's as you're saying, it's the bigger picture. We want our students to understand the bigger picture. And, you know, Matt, I think this comes from our joint work with Scratch, or I guess our sort of tangential work with Scratch, is that we don't just want students to be part of it, but we want them to be creators of it and shapers of it. I don't know who said it, but I think it's an MIT quote of the best way to predict the future is to build it. It's probably not MIT. I don't know, but I heard that a lot when I was around. And so, you know, that's what we want our students to do. We want them to be the ones shaping this and creating this.
Absolutely. And that brings up a nice question, though, which is, how do we get started getting our students to be the builders of that future?
That is a very good question. So why don't we pull up, if you haven't seen it already, the Day of AI USA website. And here it is. Boom. All right, so what do we have here, Matt?
So this is the Day of AI USA website. This is where you can find all sorts of information about how to engage with Day of AI USA. We have some curriculum. So if you go over to the curriculum tab at the top there, you'll see we have a number of different options, all the way from K to 12 for getting students started with basic AI literacy and how to start understanding how AI tools are built and how to think about them creatively. We also just added an awesome AI trivia time game that we have some folks who are already using, and it's very, very fun to play.
Nice. Yeah, so if you are logged in, you can actually see the game leaderboard. So you can register now to try and get yourself on the leaderboard. But this is the website. And as you notice, if you were to click on these grade bands, you see we literally have from ages 5 and up. The lessons are all laid out with an educator guide, slides, student resources, and even tutorial videos that you can check out. So lots to dig in, lots to see there. But the point of all of this, you know, is that we want teachers to start using this in their classroom, but we felt like there's a need to sweeten the deal. So I'm going to ask you again, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about this festival tab over here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that curriculum is there to kind of give you a nice base, a nice foundation so that students can engage in some of the next level project creation that's associated with the AI Youth AI Festival. This festival is going to take place over the summer at MIT. It's meant to celebrate student creativity and innovation. It's going to be happening July 17th to 19th. And for it, we have 5 different events that are happening. We have,
oh yeah, here we go.
Awesome. Yeah. So we got the Student Senate on AI policy, where 2 students from each state are going to participate in a mock Senate. We have Me, Myself, and AI, I think is the next one down there. Yeah, which is about, and also AI Live, which are more sort of artistic, creative expressions in relationship to like reflections and thinking about AI and potentially using AI to do those projects as well.
Yeah, and these are going to be our focuses for today.
Yeah. We also have below that AI for a Better World. And if you want to know more about that one, we have an info session happening tomorrow with our wonderful PD facilitator, Nora. So you can sign up for that on our website under the PD tab. And also talking about careers in AI as well.
Yeah, it's really going to be an incredible event. And I think the best way for you to get to know more about them is actually to go to the website and to click on things and to see what's going on. So when you go in, not only will you find more information about the actual event and the challenge, but we have educator guides and student resources and slide decks. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to pick this up and start going to town with it with their students. And if you have any questions, if things are confusing, on this original page /festival, there's actually a bunch of frequently asked questions at the bottom. So things that come up over and over again. We're going to talk about it today, but we also wanted to make sure that people were aware that that was here too. So one of the questions we get is who can actually participate in these events? Like what grades are allowed to do, for example, Me, Myself, and AI?
Yeah, and for Me, Myself, and AI, we're opening up submissions to anyone in grades 3 through 12.
That's right. So even if you're a third grader, you might not be able to win the trip to MIT, but there is that opportunity to be nationally recognized and to share your work with the world. I'm really looking forward to seeing some younger students participating in this. Another question is, do students have to do this on their own, or what support do they have? What options?
So it's a great question. So every submission is going to need a teacher sponsor. So they can do it on their own, but you're going to need a teacher sponsor to help with the submission. And some of the projects you can do in groups. Some of them can be done individually. Some of them have to be in groups. But regardless, if it's happening, in an extended learning program or during school hours or at home, as long as you have a teacher sponsor, you should be safe.
Absolutely. And I saw a question in the chat asking, where can I sign up for an information session for AI for a Better World? Again, register at dayofai.org, dayofaiusa.org, that is. And then you'll be able to go to this professional development tab. Boom. You'll see our calendar all filled out, and you can sign right up to spend some time with Nora over Zoom and learn more about that session. So there you go. Thanks for asking the question. I also saw a comment just now that Abraham Lincoln and Peter Drucker probably said the predicting the future, the best way is to create it. Thank you so much for adding that comment in.
So it definitely was not someone from MIT.
Not maybe a little bit out.
Okay, all right, yeah. I really thought it was too. So maybe that's a little bit self-centered of me.
Yeah, everything revolves around, our own experiences. Okay, so for the two events that we're highlighting today, I want to go ahead and give you guys the heads up to mark your calendars and start planning. Here's Me, Myself, and AI. And submissions for this open, if I'm reading right, next week, like literally next Tuesday, 1 week from now. So that's when we're going to start looking for student submissions of 2 pieces of AI artwork with their artist statement. And then it closes a month from now. So that means that the time to get started is now. And if you're more interested in the AI Live performance event, that opens just a week later, February 10th, and then closes a week later. So now is the time to begin. All right. Now, with that, I don't think there's any reason for further delay. Why don't we dig into our first spotlight of the Me, Myself, and AI event so that people have all the information they need to get started? Shall we?
For this event, we want students to create 2 pieces of art. And really what matters here is that they're going to be envisioning their community now and envisioning how it could look in the future, 50 years in the future. And the idea here is that they're going to be utilizing AI almost like as a thought partner or as a tool in order to create the art that they're going to submit. So at least one of the pieces of visual art that they create should incorporate the use of an AI tool, and there is some documentation of the process that students have to capture, and an artist statement. So it's not just submitting 2 pieces of art and hoping that they win because it's good. It's really about the process. In that documentation, the process documentation, and the materials that students are going to be filling out, and their artist statements with their submission, they're really going to be explaining their thought process and what it is about their community that they like right now, what it is that they envision that maybe AI or the future could hold. In this picture, this might be an example of like something that students might do. They might take a picture, or they might draw a picture of their community now, and then utilizing AI tools, transform it, and maybe think about how their community might change over the next 50 years. So as an example here, we could ask, or what we'll be asking ourselves is, how is the student interpreting the growth of their community? This is not just the students like becoming like experts at prompting the AI to generate like an image that they're thinking of. We want them to see AI as like to use AI almost as like a co-pilot and like a thought partner, and as a tool that helps them, that helps them in the process of creating something of value or something that they're trying to create. They're really becoming experts at understanding the process of using AI to get to a specific goal, and knowing that that's not something that happens in an instant. That could take a little while, and the students will learn about how that actually works and get there.
Nice. I feel like that video perfectly sets the stage for what Me, Myself, and AI is all about, which is helping students really enjoy this intersection between identity and technology, and exploring that and using art. But Matt, I'm going to ask you a question, because one thing that Jorge said was that AI can be like a thought partner. And I think a lot of educators get nervous because for them, with their students using AI, it's just using it to cheat. And so how do you think about this? Like, how do you think about AI as a collaborator, and why is that shift so important for students?
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to AI as a thought partner, for me, it's really a question of kind of what is my goal, and sort of what is my level of sort of experience with that goal going into it. Like one thing that I find can be really helpful about generative AI is, I'm not the most experienced or most familiar with visual art. My medium has always been music, and so like if I wanted to build something visual, I might need more ideas on like, or just more language around like what to say to generate a piece of art that is that's gonna like be what I see in my mind's eye. And so having that conversation with a large language model about like, how do I prompt, how do I build that, what is can be super helpful just to get me to know what to say to get the image that I want. At the same time, also sometimes it can help me explore new domains that I'm less familiar with, And so I think that like sometimes if I'm not familiar with some topic and I want to know more about it, maybe it can help me understand at least where to start looking. I'm not going to necessarily say that I want to like immediately accept anything that's said without any sort of like checking to make sure, but like understanding where to start to look at something can be really helpful with too.
Yeah, like it can be a starting point for students. It can be a starting point for their projects.
Yeah.
I mean, would you be willing to show us a bit of what you mean by giving a Me, Myself, and AI demo for us?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Dr. Randy. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's build on what Jorge was just talking about with us. So Jorge did a great job of showing us, here is some of the slides that he was going over as far as what the Me, Myself, and AI project looks like. Just so you know, and to highlight something he said, we strongly recommend some of these foundational AI literacy lessons ahead of time, which you can find information on here. But yeah, as he was saying, it requires the generation of 2 art pieces. And we encourage some use of AI, but not exclusively using AI as part of the generation of your art. Whether that means like drawing something and uploading it and asking AI to make to tinker with it a little bit, whether it means generating something with AI and then using that to generate your own piece. It's really up to you. But like, let's say that I wanted to generate a first draft of an image just to see, what to get outside of my own head, what's something that I would like to see. So I might go to Gemini, which is a tool that can do chat, but can also do image generation. And you can kind of choose it by, going to tools, going to create images, and describing the image that I want to generate. And so like, let's say that I was doing something related to Me, Myself, and AI. So what does my community look like now? and what do I want to look like in 50 years? So maybe what I would say right now, my community happens to be covered in snow. And so I might say like, let's see, generate a picture of, and I actually feel like it's emblematic of, Somerville, New England. We're known for our winters. Sometimes they're harsh, but we have a lot of fun in the snow. So maybe I'm going to say generate a picture of Somerville, Massachusetts. We'll see if it can actually get that specific. Then I might describe what I want to see happening in that picture. So like, let's say that, in this moment, I'm thinking of that snowstorm. So like this picture, if I can spell correctly, that is, should include a lot of snowfall. And one image that has always comes to mind for me of like my town and like deep, deep snowfall in the winter is people skiing in the middle of an unplowed street. And I kind of want the vibe to be like cartoony. Like I don't need it to be super like realistic. So I might say like I want like the aesthetic should be cartoon. See, this is where I don't really have a good sense of language for this kind of stuff, but yeah.
I see you exploring new spaces. I love that, Matt.
Yeah. Okay, now you can see it's doing a lot of thinking. It's doing it, and then so just so you all know, there are different models you can choose with Gemini. Thinking, fast, pro, and these models are going to have different levels of complexity and different levels of stuff they're doing under the hood. That is actually not bad.
That's pretty accurate.
House, right? Yeah, the houses look a lot like the kind of houses you'd see in the area. I love the image of a dog on the skis as well, and like the snow coming up. That's pretty good. I kind of love that. Wow. Way to go, Gemini. But this could be like the starting point for me. It could be like, cool, like this is great as a starting point. But then I might want to think about, what does it look like in 50 years? And then, and then I might start a new prompt for that particular purpose. For me, like, a big thing that comes up in Somerville is like affordable housing and climate change. Those are two big things that come up. So like a lack of affordable housing. So I'd want to maybe have an image in the future that really sort of highlights so socioeconomic diversity as part of the city. And I might also want to highlight sort of like, I hope that, with climate change, like we're able to do some work in the next, 10 to 20 to 30 years to combat it. And so, I'd worry about snow being present. And so, if I'm going optimistic, I might try and do, an image of this same, like an image like this with socioeconomic diversity, maybe knowing that like we can't fully reverse climate change to where it's at right now, but that we could maybe have some snowstorms. And so, maybe I'd say things like, generate a futuristic image with, snowfall and socioeconomic diversity represented, but maintaining the joy, snow, and architecture from the previous image. I can build on previous stuff to see if we can do that. And like, let's see what happens.
As you were saying, can we start to reverse climate change? I was thinking about all of the cars in the picture and like maybe they're going to be something different and I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I love that. Like maybe in the future, like a lot of the streets aren't like, are there fewer cars in the streets? There's a lot more pedestrian areas, and like maybe there's like a public bus. Oh wow, it included high-speed rail. Wow, okay, all right. So yeah, but like more public transportation.
Just going straight into the houses. It's beautiful.
That's amazing. Yeah. I just noticed that. That is so cool. Wow. But yeah, but I think you're totally right. Like that is that like that's another way to think about it. Like in that future, what does access to like public transportation, like fewer cars on the street, things like that. A spaceman on skis, that kind of but also I think, Randy, you're talking about sort of like, climate change and like access, like, obviously, there's a lot of conversation around generative AI and how many resources it consumes to use it with things like this. And that's actually where you can start to think a little bit about, what I'm using different tools for for instance, like, the thinking model actually, consumes more energy than say the fast model. And, maybe, and text generation consumes less energy than image generation. So maybe what I could do instead sometime is actually ask, a text model like, hey, can you help me think of a prompt that gets this idea across? And then put that prompt in like the image generator, so that I'm not generating as many images as I, as I brainstorm.
Yeah, I remember doing this project, or a similar project rather, before, and these were with high school students in Boston, and a lot of them were very, very concerned about the environmental impact of AI. So how do you navigate that, Matt, and how do you talk to students about that?
It's a really good question. I mean, a lot of times when I talk to students, it's we talk about really sort of thinking critically about how often to use AI and for what purposes, and also thinking about what kind of models are we using. One of the tools that recently came out that I found really helpful. Oh, actually, why don't I share my screen and show this just to help me understand energy consumption? Is this tool that shows like an energy score leaderboard for different AI models. And we can see like text generation, like, there's the GPU energy consumption is kind of like what I'm looking at for how much, per prompt energy is consumed. And we can see with like, text generation, it's, in the single digits, which is still a lot. Let's get that. Let's make sure that's clear. But then if we were to move over to image generation, we see it's 100 times more. And that was making me think like, okay, wow, I should really be sort of thoughtful about if I'm doing image generation, like I'm going to do it for an example to model to people as part of a webinar. But, maybe I don't do it, just to generate a GIF to share with a coworker, maybe not that. And then when I think about that model, the thinking model that Gemini had, that's a reasoning model. And as we can see, those use even more. And so that's also where I'm sort of like, maybe I reduce and I think really, really critically about whether I actually need to use a reasoning model when I have that setting on. And maybe instead, I make sure that I switch over to the fast model.
Nice. Okay,
it's
so
not going to be as high quality.
Correctly, it went from 1 watt-hour per 1,000 queries for text model to like 100 times that for images to like 1,000 plus times that for the thinking model. That's incredible, even though it's still text, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But it's like it's doing so much in the background that like it just uses so much more energy.
Nice. And part of this event is having students do a write-up about what they're learning. And I can imagine students in their write-up really reflecting, of course, on the issues of community and representation, but also on how they navigate that environmental impact. Like I could see that being a huge, beautiful part of what they decide to share with us as we judge their submissions. I think we'd all look forward to reading about that.
Would love to. Absolutely. Yeah.
And educators, lean into those hard questions. I think I've always been pleasantly surprised by how much students are already thinking about this. Like even like the 5-year-olds I talk to are really thinking deeply about what it means to grow up with robots.
Totally. Absolutely. It's amazing. It's the kind of conversations that I find like students want to be having because they know it's impacting them. Right. Yeah. So, but that's an example of me, myself, and AI. But Randy, what about AI Live?
You're right. I think it's time for us to talk about AI Live, and we have another video with Jorge to tell you all about it.
For AI Live, students are going to be creating an original performance piece. So this is really about a live performance. And the winners that are going to get selected are going to perform this at the Lindy Center over in Cambridge. So it could be a dance, it could be some sort of dramatic reading, it could be the reading of a poem, it could be a song, anything artistic, any kind of performance piece. And it could also be a team-based piece as well. So the students can work in a group and create some sort of performance piece to submit. And so the students are going to be trying to express their relationship to and with technology. So we want them to express their opinions and do that in a very artistic, creative way. And that is going to be what is going to be judged as well. So the students have to submit possibly a video, but also their artist statements, their documentation for the entire process. So again, they're going to be documenting their research, their learnings, what it is that they've learned about AI literacy, any prompts that they used, and that entire process. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to see that the students are using AI as a tool, and they're really engaging with the process, and not just having AI do it for.
And not just having AI do it for them.
That
was the funny transition back. So AI Live, what is it all about? It's about taking performance metrics and turning it into performance art. Yes, it is literally about having students go on and perform. And I saw someone in the comments asking, oh, what if my student wants to do creative writing? Great, but they have to perform it. They have to get on stage, or at least be prepared to, when their wonderful work is selected by our judges. So that's what we're really looking forward to. Yeah,
yeah, I was going to say also AI Live is about hearing an example from Dr. Ray.
Hearing an example. Yes. You know, I don't think it's fair to tell students that they have to perform and we wouldn't be willing to do it ourselves. So I am going to perform a little, I guess you could say, spoken word, or maybe even a rap. And I'm not going to share one of mine, actually. Sorry. I'm going to share one from some Cambridge high school students who participated in a cypher that I ran a couple years ago. And I'm doing this because as much as I love to hear my own work, I really think this is about celebrating students' work. So why not highlight our wonderful students? So at the time they were freshmen, Leah, Soli, and Marin, who are all part of Innovators for Purpose, which is an after-school program design studio in Cambridge. And it's to help students learn to use media and art to create meaningful change. You're going to hear an amazing, very catchy track. It's called Turn On Your FRBs by Dr. Sasha Costanza-Chalk, aka DJ Kick Loud on SoundCloud. And without further ado, I guess Maestro, cue me up.
Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a plan. Can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a plan. Can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on.
Bias hides in every line of code, a reflection of humanity's flawed abode. Faces unknown, or so it would seem, the echoes of privilege, a systemic dream. Do you see it? In silicon halls, a bias lies in wait. Facial recognition, a code to create. Amongst gays where algorithms play, but diversity's reflections lost in gray. Faces darker, features more bold, but likely to be recognized, stories untold. Algorithmic gaze, a filter so fine, categorizing life with boundaries divine. Bias hides in every line of code, a reflection of humanity's flawed abode. Faces unknown, or so it would seem, the echoes of privilege, a systemic dream.
Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a plan. Can't nobody stop us. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a plan. Can't nobody stop us.
Invisible and safety data stream, a digital divide where access is assumed, representation lacking, voices go unheard as AI echoes, voices become blurred. Pictures are taken without saying the truth of how photos are collected for AI's use. Data gathered without knowledge or consent, with no opportunity to even consent. Bias hides in every line of code, reflection of humanity's flawed abode. Faces unknown, or so it would seem, the echoes of privilege, systemic strain. I'm actually very happy that you didn't get to see my face as I performed that, but Matt did. Y'all, it is time to rewrite the code. And once again, shout out to Leah, Soli, and Marin of Innovators for Purpose for creating that amazing piece. We are going to put the link to their blog and the video of them performing it and the description / the show notes. I love highlighting them and hyping them up whenever I can. They are rising stars.
It was truly amazing. And also, your rendition, very, very high quality. It was fantastic. But I imagine that a lot of the educators in the audience are wondering, how do they get their students to a place, that you got to with these students at Cambridge High School?
Yeah, I think really it's about finding a hook and thinking about what is the message that you're currently not hearing that you really want people to hear. I know that students are concerned about natural resources, so electricity, they're concerned about water, they're concerned about their voices not being heard and adults making all the rules, but not really tuning into what they want. So once students have sort of figured out what they want to share, then it's about helping them think about how they want to share it. Like, how do you best communicate it? And that's a very artistic journey to go on. Before I give my kind of tips, Matt, as a musician, like, where do you start when you perform? Like, how do you get into the artistic mood?
Oh, that is a very good question. I mean, a lot of times, this is very specific to me, and I don't think this is true of everyone, but like when I have written music in the past, it always starts with the bass line for me.
Nice.
I don't know why, but that's what it is. But it starts with one piece, and it gets to building up on that piece. And then it's always about something that is just emotionally resonant. It starts with what emotionally resonates.
Yeah.
And that is important. Yeah.
Wait, I love that. I love the idea of the bass line sort of like communicating your emotions, and then you get into it and it becomes a whole song. That's 10 out of 10. I'm excited about that.
And I'm also curious for you, we talked about Me, Myself, and AI, like it's a very visual medium.
Yeah.
AI Live, as you just so eloquently demonstrated, is a performative medium.
It is.
And what do you think is so important about that for this kind of project?
Yeah, I think performance, the biggest thing is you have to be willing to go for it. So, you're going to have nerves. You're going to not be sure about every single piece of what you do, but there is a reason why you started it. Like, if you connect to that story that initially got you to that piece and you think about how you can bring others into that story, it can be really, really beautiful. So I would really highlight storytelling. I would say, one, use storytelling to try and communicate and try and form your idea, but also as you're performing, that's part of the story too. Help students think about that. Like, what are they saying with what they're doing and how they're performing? And that's my advice.
That is really good advice. That makes that like really resonates with me. Yeah, starting with what works for me, and and trusting that like it's probably gonna work for some other people out there, or resonate with other people out there as well.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Matt. We've covered a lot today. We've had some live demos. We've had some live performances or live-ish performances. I think it's time to wrap it up. What are our takeaways? Thank you. What are our takeaways here? What can we do, people?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if there's one takeaway for everyone who's listening into this, it's that your students can do this. We really don't want this to seem daunting. We really want to make sure that you understand that these are things that your students can absolutely do. And so we really encourage you to, to take some time to look at the resources that we have and really, do this kind of project with your students, because we think that it's something that they will resonate with, and they can produce something incredible. I mean, Randy just showed us with the piece from the students.
I absolutely 100% agree, right? And I, especially with the educators that we work with, I can see on their faces, they're like, my schedule is so packed. Like, I have so much going on. So I would encourage you to think about what works for you. So this can be like a week-long intensive. Maybe you have a special week where you can decide what the curriculum is. So you can slot this in here. It could be a capstone for students who are really looking to do one big project and focus on it. I, again, encourage folks to go check out those AI in 15 minutes lessons, right? Those are really good, really bite-sized, help you get into it, but don't require a lot of time. And all of those are building blocks or stepping stones to get you into the full thing. So again, dayofaiusa.org, all the resources, slides, rubrics, they're all live right now and ready for you. So now's the time to start planning. You've got a week before you open submissions and like 4 to 5 weeks before it's due. Get started. Get started.
And if you do, whether it's today or whether it's later, whether it's after we sign up for this, if you do have any questions, like, we are here to support you. We mentioned the AI for a Better World. You can find out more about that tomorrow. You can look on our website for all those resources that Randy mentioned. You can always reach out to us on social media or email us at contact@dayofai.org, and we will get back to you as soon as we can with any questions.
Absolutely. And for those high school teachers or people with high school students, don't forget that grand prize, the ability to come to MIT. I see questions in the comments asking about any tips for students. Is it highly selective? Is it only made for low-income students or groups? Our goal really with Day of AI USA, we were sitting around the table and said, we want this to go to every part of the country. We wanted to make sure that every single student has a chance. And in fact, we will be inviting students from every part of the country to come, which is to say that your students have a great chance. Check out the rubrics, check out the FAQs, all the information that they need is there for them to get started. And then just encourage them to dig in, to be authentic, because that's going to take them a lot further, not only in this competition, but in life than anything else. So yes, it is made for all students across the country. We want to see your students join us in Boston in July. No, Matt, my birthday is in July. Did you know that?
Oh my God. I actually think I do. I think it's somewhere in my calendar. I don't remember which day, but
did you know I have a special birthday wish this year? Can you guess what it is?
What is your birthday wish?
It is to see your students join us in MIT for the Youth AI Festival this summer. That would absolutely make my day.
I would never have guessed that. I would never guessed that you were going to say that.
True. Okay, so that is it for us in our info session today. But before we go, we have to send all of our thank yous, especially to our incredible partners and sponsors who make this initiative possible. There are a lot of names scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So thank you to all of you all for helping us create this opportunity for students.
And thank you to all of you, all the educators out there, all of you who are working with students every single day. What we do here, we just want to try and be as much of a support as we can for you all, so that you feel empowered to talk with your students about important issues like this.
Absolutely. We cannot wait to see what your students create. Thank you for joining us, and see you in Boston in July.